Welcome to Kate Sparks Creativity. This is a short video about writing organization. I don't write as much during the summer as I do in the fall and spring, as I have made a routine around writing in the morning before work. Sometimes it's on my phone, sometimes it's in a notebook, and that's helpful to an extent because I get writing practice, but then I wind up with lots of writing I'm not doing anything with in the summer, and then I get an accumulation. Now, like this right here is college stories that I wrote, and then all of this is novel projects and research notes. I have one of many notebooks, and it's not very thick because I've pulled pages out. That is one of those things I try to avoid doing, but I just like the sensation, honestly, of taking the pages out. And it gets messy really quickly, so having an organization system helps. This summer, I want to set a goal of 30 minutes a day to spend working on different projects. I've kind of made a list for others who want to try and organize their own writing. I've been writing since fifth grade as far as writing for pleasure. I don't have all of that, or this would not be even remotely doable in one lifetime because I wrote a lot. Um, Anyways, set a realistic goal. I'm going to shoot for 30 minutes a day just to get back in the routine and habit of writing and processing through what I've written and organizing so that I can work on those projects. Sometimes I can get in a headspace and a flow and I can write for hours and actually finish like a zero draft, crappy draft, whatever you want to call it, of a story or a novel or whatever. It's not like 50,000 words long, it's like probably 10,000 words long or something like that. But then it gets stuck in a drawer and doesn't see the light of day again for years at a time. And then I go back and like, oh, that was good. But then I don't even know where to start. So, realistic goal. It adds up over time, especially if the volume of your work is such that you don't feel like writing. Make a routine or a ritual for your organization, editing or writing. I'm not very good at any of this because I'm just one of those go forth and do it kind of people, or I don't do it, which is not great because then it's just like I'm doing it or I'm not. Whereas, and then like there's no rhyme or reason to it, maybe, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, so I also have Google Docs on my phone, which I might have mentioned. I have a little sketch doodle up here that I haven't even taken out of the box, but it was an idea for taking quick notes and then not having to keep them once I used them. Finding stuff that works for you. If Google Docs doesn't work for you because then you have so much stuff accumulating online and you can't find the good stuff, don't use it. You can use something else. Um, I don't I can't recommend any other programs because that's what I use for simplicity, honestly. Um, I think I write better by hand when I'm in the zone. But, if I wanted to make a writing routine or an art routine or anything like that, I think it would feature Cosmic Stardust, Alani energy drinks, and pretzels, a little snacky that's not too messy. And then also make systems for your writing, label as you go rather than waiting. A lot of my stuff is labeled because I will go through phases of organizing my space or getting rid of stuff. And then that way, so if you do stop and have to go back, you're not starting over from scratch. You have, a path, a map, whatever you need for that. And also maybe index it like you would a commonplace journal because I have a lot of stuff. I have a writing bullet journal, writer's journal, whatever you want to call it. It's got planners in it, it's got quotes in it, it's got story ideas and names and all of that good stuff. And I also have an idea to do binders for every novel that I'm working on, and it's so much that I don't ever do it half the time, but having a system in place would help with that. If that was something you wanted to do, especially with like art and all of that, if you're visual, sometimes like I'm visual in my head, and like if I can get time to do visualing on paper, like I tend to draw more than mood board, because like I kind of like the idea of learning to draw. I doodle my stuff, so it's very kind of cheesy first draft, kind of like houses and characters and stuff like that. Anyways, moving on from that, if you feel like you have to purge everything when you're going through your writing, you're probably not going to start anyways. But if you feel like you have to purge, take a step back, get in the right headspace for looking at your work, not so much critically as looking at it and going, okay, this is what I wrote in this period of my life, and this is what I want to do with it. And then kind of go from there. If there's parts of it that you really like, but the rest of it you're not going to use again, you could cut out those bits and keep them in your journal. And that would be something you could look at later without having to dig through everything. If you don't have a journal, it might be time to start one, because then you can look at where you've been, and you can keep quotes and ideas and name lists on one spot, and that would probably be really helpful. So another intention for this video, other than to show that you're not alone in your own chaos, is that I do want to set goals for 30 minutes a day to do this. And then I want to do check-ins, and I have some projects that I want to do upcycling the paper when I'm done with it. Like I want to make handmade paper. I want to do some paper mache projects, because Pinterest makes me want to make like lemon wall sharks and stuff like that. You know how it is, Pinterest. Um but just stuff like that, because sometimes I also feel like I'm wasting paper when I'm writing, and that's why I do it online. And then I'm like, then I'm wasting energy or time or whatever, and it's all a cycle. And being on top of what you have, I think, will help with that. So if you are interested in having an accountability partner, I am going to try and do a video about my writing every Saturday. It may be a check-in as to how much I've progressed in this box. It may be how many stories I've found, some of the ideas that I have. And then if I'm writing any new work, stuff like that, or maybe I will show a doodle in my writer journal. Right now, this has become part art journal, part writing journal, because I wasn't using it. And I have so many journals, as so many of us do. So it's like I'm trying to use them up and use them in a way that's going to help me grow, rather than just leaving them to waste on a shelf. So if you're interested, like and subscribe. I will try to get posts about my writing up on Saturdays. There may be other days in the week where there's writing material, but I'm shooting for Saturdays because that's the end of the week, and I work on my art most of the week if I'm not filming. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.